Greetings, travelers! On this episode, we explore the mysterious realm of 5 dimensions. That's right, you may be able to see and hear your games, but have you ever thought about what they might taste, smell, or feel like? The Greetings from Gang is back at it again to explore the most burning questions you might have about your favorite video game monsters. Stay a while as we explore the mysteries of video games, one sense at a time. Greetings, travelers. It is January 26th, 2020, and this is the Greetings From podcast. My name is Rebecca Faye, and I am joined as always by my two very good friends. First, she's here to do some business with a big iron on her hip. It's Miss Olivia Quinn.
Big iron on her hip, big iron on her hip. That song is so fucking good, y'all. Fallout New Vegas soundtrack. It's still something I listen to almost daily.
Oh, totally. It's pretty banging, I think. Pretty banging. I'm only sad there weren't more cowboy pokey songs on it, but that's what mods are for.
Where?
I think
I'll have the mod for Big Iron only, please, just on repeat. Thank you very much.
I wonder if there is a Big Iron mod that sets every Radio New Vegas song to just Big Iron on a constant loop. Like that has to be possible, right?
I don't know if y'all have seen the mods where they just replace like everything with one texture and then everything with like one sound. Ooh. So it's like a game where it's like, oh, Mario 64, but everything is just Mario, and it's just him saying, woohoo! So it's like every sound effect just walks through on repeat and every like texture. So I just want that with Big Iron, where everything is just Big Iron, like the first 30 seconds of Big Iron, and it's all just the Big Iron cover as every texture in the game. So that's my new mod.
Imagine every time you shoot a bullet, it's just like Big Iron, Big Iron, Big Iron. Oh. I'm also joined by a man who's got spurs that go jingle, jangle, jingle as he goes riding merrily along. It's Mr. Tyler Smith.
That's me. I don't know the song, though.
I got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle, jingle, jingle.
As we go riding merrily. I put the sheet music for that because I don't know why, but I bought it because I thought that was...
What is that from?
It's another song on Radio New Vegas.
Oh, that's
they're
why.
Old,
yeah.
They're like old songs that they've repurposed.
I really have to play that game.
We have to do that as a coaching corner. We have to make you play New Vegas.
Yeah, I think we have talked about this. So
it's on the list.
We're going to line that one up and we got to do this. All right, my friends, we are gathered here today in the wake of CES, which ended, by the time people listen to this, it'll be like 2 weeks or something. But that's like a fun, cool show, I feel like, where people show the future of technology, a lot of it that probably never makes it to consumers, but you know what? Don't let your dreams be dreams. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Show off your font work at CES.
Yeah.
Show off the new logo. It's very important.
It's very important. Branding, number 1. Follow through, not as important. If you got a good brand, I think that's what really sells. So, I feel like every year at CES, they come out with like this or that for video games. Like I think this year, the Logitech or something, was it Logitech or NVIDIA or somebody had like a little handheld PC gaming Switch thing. And I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. But I really think that there's a market that we're not touching at CES. Have you all ever seen like a 4D movie? You know what I mean? Where it's like a 3D movie, but then there's like special effects, like scents and bubbles and stuff like that. Have you ever been to something like that?
Yeah, like at Disneyland, the big bug ride.
Yeah.
Or Bug's Life ride. Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like video games. There's like lots of stuff. You're like going places. You're collecting shit. There's like dead stuff and gore probably, and people dying at battlefields, but also like beautiful rolling fields and all kinds of cool stuff. Why has nobody ever done 4D? But for video games, am I right?
You could really take an arrow to the knee, like in reality.
Yeah, have you ever wanted to actually take an arrow to the knee? Well, my friends, Olivia, I feel like you deserve credit for this idea because it was your idea. But we were having a conversation a couple weeks ago about, video games give us great visuals, right? They get better every year. Like now we're getting into scary photorealistic territory. I feel like games give us great audio, like audio direction, audio mixing is better than it's ever been. But we're missing these other really key senses that the 4D experience tries to bring, right? I'm talking like smell, right? I'm talking about like touchy stuff like bubbles, you know what I mean? And I would even go so far as to say that the 4D is not bringing what it truly can, which is taste.
Yes.
So that's why I would like to
Yes.
challenge us here today to think in 5 dimensions about some video game creatures that have not been fully represented to their potential. Are you with me?
I'm with you. Can I
Ready to go on
clarify?
this journey.
This idea sprung from the idea that we wanted to talk about who was the best video game villain to lick, and it evolved into this. So I think you listeners are doing, this is the better version of that idea. We may go back to that, but this is the clean version. You can show this to your kids.
I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say you could show this to your kids. Like, I'm a little afraid about the territory that this could potentially get into.
It could get dicey.
A little dicey. I'll see how good our vocabularies are today. Some stretch some language here. So if you are listening to us for the first time, or if you listen to us a million times, hopefully it's the latter, but welcome if you're new to us. Sometimes we like to do random draws where we'll pull something random out of a hat. We'll have people send us a bunch of different options, and then we get what we get, and we have no idea until it's the day of. So I asked our listeners to give us some of their favorite non-humanoid creatures. So everything from sludges to animals to creepy bugs and stuff like that. And we'll use these as our basis to do some touch, some smell, and some taste.
Some theater of the mind.
So a little theater of the mind. Are you guys ready?
No, but let's
do
go.
it.
Okay. So I'm going to generate our first creature. So our first one I think is a pretty clean one to start with, right? Our first one are mud crabs from Skyrim or some of the Elder Scrolls games. As you may or may not know, mud crabs are basically very large angry crabs. Just a crab but large. Am I right, gamers?
With like a rock as a home.
So I think
They're like hermit crabs,
kinda.
aren't they? Yeah.
Well, so I think the real question here is, does a mud crab taste like normal crab? Or does it have like a special like je ne sais quoi? You know what I mean?
I think like crab, but earthy. Like I think like a crab that kind of has that muddy texture of like a snail or something. Like not texture, that's the wrong word. Like a snaily kind of crabby flavor is what I imagine it would taste like.
Okay.
And it would smell like mud. This is what my mind is saying
like
to me
mud.
right now.
Right. So
A
you
swamp.
definitely
Like smells like swamp, I guess, to clarify. Like the bog of the bog water, if you will. Shrek.
Somebody. Sorry. Okay, so a swampy slug, we'll say.
Swampy
so
slug.
do you think that the mud crab meat has the same texture as normal crab? Like, is it imitation crab? Could you put this in a California roll? What are we talking here?
I feel like it'd be more sinewy in a way. Like it has to be like mud. When I think mud crab, I think like it's tough, and like
So
it's not that the meat will be tough, but like it's just like a stronger crab than other like our crabs.
It's a gamey crab, one might say.
Ooh, it's a gamey crab. Yeah.
That sounds awful. Actually, I don't know if I want to eat mud crabs anymore.
But to kind of to build off what Olivia was saying, you were just talking about like snails. So does it have like that kind of rubbery bounce to it when you chew it, or
would you cook it up in
You
a
know?
little, like a little garlic butter, perhaps? Like, are we thinking
Yeah.
that? You know,
How? I think one thing I'm struggling with here is that a mud crab, like its shell, looks very hard.
Yes.
And like when I think about crab, or crab legs and things like that, I want to eat. It's like got my little crab leg breaker. I feel like you can't break through a crab's like normal, or you can't break through a mud crab's chitin with a crab like little clampy thing because they're just too strong.
Yeah.
Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah. Does that mean that?
I mean, I feel like the chefs prepare it for you, and like they have to smash it with a hammer or something.
But the chefs have
and
to
it
be
just comes out.
Nords. Like, it's a requirement that the chefs are Nords. Only the true sons of Skyrim can properly create the mud crab meal. Is that what we're
What is
saying?
that forge? The Sky Forge or whatever
Yeah.
in Whiterun? It's like they need to have a hammer crafted
Do you
by
think
the
the fucking
Whiterun Sky
companions
Forge.
are like out there doing like mud crab skewers over the forge? I wouldn't put it past them.
Do mud crabs have any kind of attacks? Like, you know, crabs can kind of bubble, like the little like bubble mouth thing.
No, it just has the two large pincers in front of it, and it just like slowly crawls up to you, and then like
It's
bites you with its pincers. It has the mandibles.
pinchy.
Yeah,
Can you
it's just got
imagine
the one.
getting
Well, just
killed
has
by
the one pinchy. And maybe it has like a little stabby because the legs are like
Pinchy
pointed.
stabby.
But like for the most part, it's just
You're walking home from your day out collecting honey and leaves and stuff like that, and a fucking mud crab is coming for you, and it just takes you out. You get dragged back to its lair.
Well, there are giant
they're
mud
slow.
crabs.
yeah, there are giant mud crabs.
Yeah.
It's true.
Really? Oh man.
I don't think they're in Morrowind, but they're in Skyrim. Well, I think they were modded into Skyrim. God, I don't remember. Either way.
I will.
Gojira mud crab. Just
Gojira
a
mud
giant
crab.
one that can take over.
I will say, just worth mentioning that I don't know if I've talked about it on the pod before, but you guys obviously know that I had like a fugue moment and went and bought like 15 video game cookbooks, of which one of them was the Skyrim cookbook, and in it there is a recipe for hot mud crab dip, which is stylized like a crab dip. So it seems like those are perhaps interchangeable. I don't know. Like a little mud crab spread over a nice bruschetta, perhaps. I don't know.
Ooh. Does it use imitation crab from what you remember? Or are you supposed to get like that real crab life?
Real crab. It says you could use imitation if you wanted, but only the finest quality mud crab meat here. That's what I'm saying.
So it's got a rubbery taste. It smells like a bog or a swamp. And
it's hard as hell.
Yeah. Rock hard, baby.
Rock solid mud crab. I will say that not really appetizing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have a mud crab steam bake. You know what I mean? Not really feeling it.
I feel like it would be like a lobster in a sense, like you're having like a lobster tail.
I imagine it'd be a bad lobster tail. It'd be like a lobster tail, but way harder.
It's like a really tough lobster tail.
Yeah.
It's like a really tough lobster tail, for sure.
Like an eel.
Because crab, to me, feels like it's really, like, fall off the bone, you know, but this is not that. It definitely has a different texture, a different consistency. So...
Nobody wants to talk about how salmons exist in Skyrim, but normal crabs don't. I think the mud crabs outcompeted normal crabs, killed them all, and that's why we're left with these garbage crabs to eat.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? And they live in like the most difficult to live in, harshest climate is this fucking murder crab that like brings up these gigantic claws, and you like see the bicep flex, and you're like, that thing could kill me and kill my family and feed off of our corpses and become a giant mud crab. I think.
And then you're the mud crab. The mud crab moves into your body and it just walks around with
Oh,
the corpse
no.
as its crab.
No.
I've gone too far. I apologize.
It's bad. The murder crabs. All right. Those sound awful, and I like them even less than I did before. So I think I'm actually glad that one is not in 5D. All right. Our next creature is the same number again. Thank you, Google. Our next creature.
Your face. The
that
look on your
look?
face is so
What is it?
disappointed and disgusted. I'm so excited for whatever this is.
I hate this. It's Dead Hand from Ocarina of Time.
Oh!
Yes!
So now we're gonna eat my husband from the last episode. Y'all didn't know. Last episode I married Dead Hand because he has a lot of hands, and that would be like, that's amazing. So let's go. So what does my husband taste like?
I think Dead Hand
I already
is
know, but
technically
what do you guys
human.
think?
All I'm
my
trying to say is
husband?
the Dead Hand's a fucking zombie human. Tell me
think
I'm
so?
wrong.
I will say that some of the ones that are on this list, which I cannot reveal until we get through some of them, are humanoid. They're like non-human in the sense that they're a monster, but they're still a humanoid. So there's a little finagling.
I guess I'm looking at Dead Hand's face and I'm disgusted. That doesn't look like a human.
Well,
Is Dead Hand a zombie or is Dead Hand a ghost? I thought Dead Hand was like a ghost.
I thought he was just like a skeleton.
We need to classify what kind of undead creature Dead Hand is, I think, before we can get into the particulars.
I always thought Dead Hand was fleshy. That's how I read Dead Hand's look. Like, it's mottled flesh with
But I mean, like,
blood.
his teeth are the same color as the skin, right?
Listen,
I mean,
that skin's been bad for a while. He's like a bloated body underneath a well, because you find him at the bottom of a well that you have to. This is getting too graphic. I apologize, Rebecca. You look so sad right now.
This is awful.
Yeah, but Let's live in the fiction where it isn't a body, actually. That gives us more room to play in here.
Well, I'm looking at the Zelda wiki, and it says, and I quote, "Dead hand is a zombie-like head with a large jaw. Its blood is a green color, and purple blotches, in parentheses, thought to be bloodstains, cover its body."
Okay. So it's very lean, right? Like there's no meat on this person. And what is there is very like lean. It's like there's nothing else you can do. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be like
Okay, let me pitch this.
unless
In my mind, and maybe I'm gonna ruin food for someone right now, and maybe someone in this room. I don't know. The thing that comes to mind when I look at Dead Hand and I internalize what I'm seeing, prosciutto. like imagine like a Dead Hand charcuterie board. You know what I mean?
wait, okay, so this is what they do. Then. What you're saying is they kill the dead hand, right? We're just assuming that there's multiple dead hands in the world now. We're farming dead hand.
Okay.
And so then they preserve it. We're farming dead hand. We preserve it, and then like we cook it, and then like we shave it. Just shave the skin off into flakes.
Imagining a deli cutter, like you just
you go to a kebab
or
stand,
like
and
some like al pastor like taco meat. Like that's what you do with it. You just like shave it little by little. That sounds good. Because it's been marinated, it's been cooked, it's been like, you know,
he has, like,
it's definitely something you stew for a while.
Yeah, he has like a spicy sausage, like a specialty sausage meat look to him. You know what I mean? And like you could go with this. Like we could do some like moldy cheese with this. You know what I mean? Like some blue cheese, some whatever other cheese is moldy. I'm not a cheese person. Some nice like you know, some prosciutto, some capricola. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
So he'd be good, you know, on a cracker with cheese and some dead hand.
Yeah, and like a really nice spicy mustard. You know what I mean? And like some figs.
Yum.
I don't know.
Delicious.
I didn't intend for this to be we eat the dead hand because perhaps that's removing of his personhood. Just saying.
Here's my. I'm gonna say yes and.
Okay.
And what if dead hand is partially tofu? Like what if dead hand is like a firm
Maybe,
tofu
what about the hands?
texture?
Maybe the additional hands are like all tofu hands. You know what I mean? He has like a fleshy body, and then there's like tofu hands. You know what I mean? Like you could go through and like chop some of those hands down and like cook them up nice, like a fried tofu. You know what I mean? And you can have it with your pad thai. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I just kind of I was looking at the color of dead hand, and I do kind of get like a firm tofu, like a kind of like uncooked thing with them. So
does that imply that dead hand is like a little damp and a little wiggly?
I mean, dead hand is living at the bottom of a well in a dungeon.
Yeah, I guess damp would be in the realm of
definitely
understanding.
I mean, yeah,
fair. Okay.
Like okay, yeah, because I think maybe if we say the dead hand is meat, but their consistency and their feel and touch is like tofu when you cut it right out of the baggie, and it's like kind of that wet feeling, and like almost if you grab them too hard, it would just start to disintegrate in your hand like tofu does.
Okay.
And tofu smells pretty bad if it's uncooked.
That almost reminds me of like masa or something, where it's just like very like grainy almost in your hand.
Yeah.
Have you ever touched masa? I don't know if anyone here has like made tamales or anything.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Like it has that kind of cornmeal grit to it.
The cornmeal grit to it. Yeah.
There's like nothing that sounds worse than just taking a handful of dead thing and feeling its like gristle in your hands. I hate it.
I think an angle here, the fiction that we can create, is that dead hand isn't a body, but an amalgamation of different bodies and different viscera.
So basically what you're saying
tofu.
Is that dead hand is already a charcuterie board.
You got it. You brought it home, and I like that.
I think that's where we're at. You get your little tofu. You maybe like all you have to add is like some garnishes. You know what I mean? some figs, some grapes.
The little hands. You just have little hands
just
everywhere.
Little hands sticking out. They have like one of those nice little like jars. You put your little hands, and their little hands like stick out, and you could just take one and like a little celery stick. You know what I mean?
Do you think that there's a difference between cage-free dead hand or farm-raised dead hand?
Like a free-range dead hand? I don't know.
Yeah.
You could probably make your own dead hand. I imagine that you could like dead hand is like a compost pile. Like you eventually just get enough compost, and you just get a dead hand out of that. So
that almost seems like Dead Hand is extremely sustainably minded, is what I'm hearing here. Dead Hand is environmentally friendly.
In the future, all they eat is dead hand.
Reduce,
That's
reuse,
really
recycle.
what Soylent is. It's just Dead Hand ground up into a bottle.
I think we have to move on. We can't talk about eating dead people anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
No promises for the next couple, but it's quite fine. So our next one is not specific. It just lists a very large group of objects, of things. I guess they are people. Piñatas, general, from Viva Piñata.
Ooh.
It doesn't specify which piñata.
Well, this assumes that all piñatas are the same, a piñata. Like, they all have the same thing. They might have a different shape or, size to them, but they're the same material, right?
I mean, in
Can we do an
technicality sake,
exercise?
they're all paper, right?
Yeah.
But if you just like maybe close your eyes and think about the piñata from Viva Piñata, I'm imagining the horse one from the cover.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it's
of
called.
Course. Yeah.
But that's what I imagine. That's who
The
I'm
donkey?
picturing.
Isn't it a donkey?
Maybe.
Anyway, okay.
It's a not bovine. Equus. I don't know the Latin name. Equine. It's one of those things, I think.
Yeah. Pretty sure it's a donkey
Is
because
it
typically piñatas are donkeys.
Horstachio?
Pinaticus.
Traditionally.
That sounds right.
Horstachio. A blue and purple horse piñata.
Okay.
It's the one with the
All
big,
right.
like, on the cover.
Yes.
The big grin.
Yes.
That's a horstachio. You're welcome.
I appreciate it and love it.
The Pokemon. the piñata, sorry. Okay, so just some horstachio info for your perusal. This is from the Viva Piñata wiki. The horstachio is a blue and purple horse piñata. It has a blue head with purple markings, green irises, and a light lilac muzzle and blaze markings. Is this like fanfic? Its mane and tail are various shades of orange and yellow. The horstachio has piebald blue and turquoise markings on its body and violet feathering on its lower legs. The ponaki is a stepping stone towards obtaining the horstachio. The horstachio can be evolved into a zumbug. So a zumbug is a zebra piñata.
Okay.
The ponaki is a pony. It's a pony piñata. It's just like little and adorable.
So, part of me thinks about how piñatas in the Viva Piñata world fuck, and therefore they have emissions, and they also have a smell, like a musk, if you will. That's where I'm at with this right now. So, I'm imagining like gross newspaper. Like a newspaper you find on the side of the street. That's
I was
No.
like praying in my heart of hearts that it would smell like taffy or like just like sugar.
Yeah. I went in like the sweet direction. Like, oh, you got some like floral fragrance going on.
Maybe
I'll
that's
play
what
in the space.
happens. Okay, well maybe that's what happens. Like you're gonna adopt a piñata, right? And your kid makes like a PowerPoint presentation to try and convince you to adopt the piñata, and they assume that because it's a piñata, it's gonna smell like candy. But then they get it and it smells like wet newspaper. And then you have to have that talk with them, which is like, you signed up for this. This is a responsibility, and we didn't do this lightly. You know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm. What animal that people keep in their homes actually smells good? Tell me that one, because I imagine ferrets. That's the smell I'm also thinking of. Is just like a pervasive
smell. I don't think they smell good, right?
No, they do not smell good.
I've never met a ferret.
I've heard from the few ferrets that I've met from childhood friends, smelled disgusting. But I've also heard the ferrets are pretty clean animals, and that maybe I had a bad experience with the ferret. But I'm gonna go off the smell that I know of the unkempt ferret. And maybe like that's kind of the smell that I'm imagining mixed with wet newspaper.
I think that makes sense. I had a stint with a guinea pig when I was in like the 4th grade or 3rd grade.
Oh.
And it was the class pet, and I took it home over the holiday to take care of it. And it also had the smell of like wet wood chips all the time. constantly.
I think it's a pretty similar smell to the ferret smell I'm imagining.
Okay.
Like a musk of piñata, if you will.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so we're going with piñatas are papery, woody, and also damp smelling.
So then what's the mouthfeel of this? Is it just like paper mache damp paper, or is it like fish flakes? Does it like melt in your mouth when you put it in? Is it like a vanilla wafer? It just
What
like,
about Starburst wrapper? Imagine a Starburst wrapper. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm glad you're thinking Starburst wrapper, not the tissue paper that piñatas are traditionally made out of, because that's like...
That's like a bad mouthfeel. I'm already like gagging from that mouthfeel.
Yeah, tissue paper's a bad mouthfeel. But like, yeah, Starburst wrapper, that seems acceptable, right? It's like...
crinkly.
Yeah, it's crispy, one might say.
Crispy.
They're like,
crispy.
oh,
Yeah, there you go.
It doesn't
Crispy.
dissolve in your mouth,
Yeah.
which is the important thing to me.
Crispy boys. Well, we have to assume that because these piñatas are alive and thus live natural lives, that they must be more hardy than their paper components, right? So I would say Starburst wrapper, hardy but papery, right? So
Waxy.
Right. It's very light. It's very like
one might
the
say
moment
wax.
that you
They're just like made out of parchment paper, really. It's like baking sheets. Like you call
Is this another case where we're shaving the main course,
I'm
just
like,
shave the
you
prosciutto?
call your horstachio over and you like trim some of its little pony little tail whatevers, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna bake cookies.
Is
on
that just
this.
us eating the hair then? Is that just eating the hair?
Well,
Is
not-
it like shaving your
not
dog?
eating it. I mean, like you cut the little paper strips off, and then you like bake your cookies on it, so it doesn't stick to your pan. It's like a utility thing. It's like the way you would
Okay.
shear a sheep. You know what I mean? For wool.
So we're not-
You're like getting.
So
paper
we're not
off
consuming it.
No.
It's a product.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
like
product.
it's like a
Yeah.
byproduct.
Got it.
But they do, in the world of Animal Crossing View Piñata, they do kill their piñatas and feed them to one another, and it looks a lot like chocolate, in my opinion. Like whenever
they
I look
spit
at
out,
the,
like,
the
candy?
breeding.
Yeah.
is
like-
chocolate the life force?
Kind of, I don't really, the whole mechanics of how the piñatas breed and how they like kill one another is not my favorite part of that game. It's my least favorite part to think about it. But that's my theory, is that it tastes like they're just like a chocolatey flavor on the inside.
Okay. What
Okay.
I will say, like, a complication to this that I never really understood is that you can feed piñatas actual real food items. You know what I mean? Like, you can give them actual real human fruit, which thus implies some level of digestion. System. So, I mean, it could be that their stomachs are made out of chocolate. I don't know. That seems fine.
The alternative is that it's a horse and we're killing and eating a horse. That's the reality I'm trying to avoid. Is that it's probably chocolate. It's probably a
I don't
horse.
think-
in
I don't
reality
think-
it probably tastes like horse.
I don't think these guys have any meat on them for sure. Like I don't think that it's a component in them. Like they have some chocolate substance in them, and
Well,
I don't know how they move.
Magic. What's interesting is that looking through the wiki, it lists a type of candy with each one of the different piñatas, thus implying that piñata upon death will drop that related candy. So, for example, the Chunicorn drops chewing gum. It drops
So they're
gum.
bubblegum flavored.
That one is. But, like,
Got it.
if I click on, like, the donuts are my favorite ones. What do they drop? A donut.
So it's just sugar.
Yeah, so it would sort of imply that, like, each of these things is made up internally of that thing, which
Got
is
it.
even
Okay.
more confusing.
Okay. So then which one's the horse?
So the horse one, Horstachio.
Horstachio.
Horstachio drops pistachio candy.
Oh, so he's got like a little nutty flavor to him.
Yeah, so
It's
we
like,
would say
like
the
a
Horstachio
walnut.
is slightly nutty.
Yeah.
And it's
Am
like-
I the only person
okay.
who didn't know that they evolve? Like, I just didn't even realize that these things could evolve into different forms.
It's weird because they can, like, only some of them can, and, like, they, like, grow up, which is weird. But, like, so it would make sense that a pony would turn into a horse, but it does not make sense that a horse would turn into a zebra. Like, that part I don't follow.
And okay, so Zumbugs, I'm sorry, the evolution of a Horstachio do not evolve.
That's, like, the top tier. thing.
The top tier, horse pinata.
That's the prime.
Yeah,
that's the prime pinata. That's
Legendary
like the good stuff. That's like your beef
pinata.
Wellington, or not beef Wellington.
Your exotic drop of pinata, if you will.
Yeah,
But like I'm looking here, so like the pudgeon is a pigeon that is pudding. I'm guessing these are all the pun is in the name, right? So Red Hots, which are fireflies, drop Red Hots candy because, of course, that makes sense. Let's look at a bunny comb. A bunny comb drops a honeycomb candy. That seems like that's straightforward. So I don't know. I'm kind of circling back to they smell like candy, but like maybe weird stale candy. I don't know.
I like nutty candy. I like this fiction better where the taste of one is nutty candy, and maybe they smell like nutty candy too.
Yeah.
To make it not gross.
I'm not a huge. Maybe when like they're wet, they are wet newspaper. But like I don't. I'd rather prefer that they.
Do not get your pinata wet.
Yeah. Don't get your pinata wet after midnight, or else it will. Have babies that will turn into goblins.
You have such a perturbed look on your face, Rebecca. Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry. I've like gone
hole?
down. Yeah, I've gone down the pinata hole, and like some of the types of candy that these things drop just seems like it makes no sense and maybe shouldn't exist in nature, but it's fine. Okay, so we'll say that they're candy flavored. They smell like candy except when they're wet, in which they become evil. And they still have the papery taste of Starburst wrappers and or parchment paper.
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem...
I'm fine with this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm,
now I'm going to close this tab and never look at the pinatas again. I do love Viva Pinata, but I didn't need to know.
Where
all
is
that
Viva
information.
Pinata? Give me.
You didn't want to do a deep dive?
Pinata.
Yeah,
give
where's
me more.
the Viva Pinata spoiler cast? No. All right. So our next creature. Okay, so our next creature is the Junimos from Stardew Valley. These are those little multicolored woodland sprite babies that look like they're made out of Jell-O. Please discuss.
Cut a watermelon in half, and that's what these things taste like. They taste like the inside of a watermelon, in my opinion. Or maybe a cantaloupe. I could see a cantaloupe as well.
So, therefore, the Junimos are just different flavors of melons. Like, the green one is the honeydew melon, and the orange one is the cantaloupe melon, and the pink one is the watermelon.
Yeah, no one likes the green one, because honeydew's a crime.
I like honeydew.
I was gonna say, I like honeydew as well. Weirdly enough. I don't like melons typically, but honeydew, for some reason, does it for me.
So what are all the colors of a Junimo? Because there's a blue one too, right? Is that one like
red,
blue raspberry, which is like a bullshit flavor that shouldn't exist?
I think they have red, blue, green, orange. There's the one that's a purple though.
There's a yellow.
Actually, I don't know if this is canon or not. I mean, I just see blue, green, red, yellow, and then like a white or gray. But then I also see a purple one. I don't know if some of these are canon or not. And then there's one with like pink and...
Only canon Junimos must have need apply.
Only canon. You can't be off color. No mutations in this game.
I do legitimately not know what the official colors are. The only ones that I can think of off the top of my head are green, pink, yellow, and blue.
Okay. Well.
So...
I think they still taste
I guess
like
it's
melons
orange.
of some
So do they have this... They taste like melon? Do they have the same texture and like...
No, it's human flesh.
Airiness? Oh. Bite into it, it's real tough, huh?
So you can't like melon ball a Junimo?
Yeah, you can't do that. It's not soft.
You can.
Well,
I wouldn't recommend it.
With enough can-do attitude, you can melon ball anything.
I feel like I do have to put out there that I don't think we went into this with the intention of cannibalizing these things. But I feel like that's just where we've gotten to. So really, I
can't keep it together.
You can't keep going?
I think
No, I can keep going. I think need to bring it back.
I think what we're learning here is that 5 dimension is scary and should not exist in video games.
This is why they haven't done it yet.
Ooh, are there red Junimos? Are those like apples? I don't know. I'm like, what is a blue Junimo? There is no blue melon.
It could be like plum or something. I don't know. You know, like it could be like a plum or what's like another blue purple flavor? Maybe grapes. It could be a grape flavor.
Oh yeah, it could be grape.
You know, like
I
a
guess it
red
could
grape
be
or
like
something.
blueberry or something like that. It
Yeah.
sort of breaks with tradition of. Well, okay, so they live in the forest and they live in little forest huts. So I think it makes sense that they would be fruits, right?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
on board.
Okay. So and I would hope that they're like scratch and sniff stickers, like they just have that smell to them. You know what I mean? Like if you
Like
got
if you yeah,
like if you
scratch their
go like a
skin
little
and-
woo, and then it's like ooh watermelon. You know what I mean? But I will say that I hope that they don't taste like the actual, or like the scent is not the actual fruit, but like the fake alternative version of the fruit. You know what I mean? So it's like
artificial flavor.
yeah, like it's only artificial flavoring Junimos.
So the yellow one would be artificial banana.
Yes.
I like artificial banana quite a bit, so I'm fine with this.
Would the green be
I
like
need-
green apple, like those green apple caramel lollipops? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, those are so good. Yes, I'm with
I
that.
I would say yes, but I'm trying to think of a different green, like lime or something. Like I feel like there's a green starburst that is not good.
Yeah, like lime would be. So that's the Junimo that nobody wants to hang out with because it's lime flavored.
No, because no one wants that lime flavor.
Yeah, no one likes it. Sorry to that Junimo in particular. Ooh.
Okay, I think I may have misspoke. I don't think they are human flesh. Are they just big melons that with arms and legs? Like, is that their texture?
So does that imply that they have a tough texture on the exterior? Mm-hmm. What are their
That's
little?
what I'm.
Are they soft arms and legs? Because they also have like that little antenna thing.
I keep thinking about the the coal sprites from Spirited Away.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Where
okay.
like I don't really I don't really know what the texture would be though. I guess of those things. I guess their arms and legs are made of coal. That's what the Junimos.
Okay.
Junimos.
That's yeah.
And they've got a hard exterior like a watermelon.
What if they
Not
were
like
like?
human flesh.
What if they were like little hairballs? Like they were soft.
Like kiwis.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see that. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they had
Got some
sort of a
fuzziness to it.
pleasant, soft texture. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
I'm back on board with the Junimos now. Now I would like the Junimos to be my friends, and like lay around my house and let me pet them, and then scratch and sniff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are we feeling good about Junimos now that they're no longer made of
Yeah.
human flesh?
That was like not scary.
The only thing okay, I'm sorry to bring this back to the Junimos, but what happened? You ever seen like a rotten kiwi?
Uh-huh.
That's what I keep thinking about right now is how gross rotten kiwis are.
Oh, well, they get all weird and mushy.
Yeah, and they're already hairy, and you're just like, no, thank you.
Ugh.
But
Does that mean they don't last that long if they fall off the tree? Like,
I think
are
you
they
have to
even
replace
falling
your
off the
Junos
tree?
every week at least. Get a new batch of Junos in there.
okay. I guess it's okay. We can maybe move on. It's getting morbid again. I don't.
It's what's unfortunate is that there really is no information about Junimos beyond Junimos are forest spirits. Sorry. So they're really not concerned ape not out here helping us out with this one, I don't think. Okay, so we'll not think about what they're like when they die and rot and the flesh becomes dust or whatever. They just are fun little kiwis with artificial flavoring.
Well, you just throw them. Well, here, you throw the decaying Junimos into the dead hand compost, and that's what
and it
gives
makes-
the dead
right.
hand some flavor. You know,
Oh, perfect.
Anyway.
That makes
Perfect.
sense.
got it.
We're being really efficient here. I think this is very environmentally friendly. I really like this. All right. Let's see. Our next creature. So I think this is an interesting one. This is one of those ones that is technically humanoid, but isn't a human per se. And I was looking at this one earlier and struggling to figure out how I would classify them. And the answer is the creatures, the fairies, but specifically the Ocarina of Time fairies. I'm not even kidding. Under the what game are they from, it says specifically Ocarina of Time fairies. I mean, they're still big ladies. Like they're yeah.
Yeah.
They're There's like a part of me that okay, this is going to be really bad. It's going to be really, really bad. Okay. But I'm going to say it. There's like a part of me that for some reason like wants to imagine the fairies from any of the Zelda games smelling like perfume or like sugar dust or whatever, but in my mind they just smell like sweat and like chlorine. I don't really know why. Just something
Like
I don't know.
A local pool.
Yeah, like they're like those budget mermaids that go to like the Renaissance fair and it's just like a lady with a tail that goes in a tank. You know what I mean? That's very hard. I don't mean to undersell the life of professional mermaids, but you know what I mean? Like there's just something about the like little like ponds from which they spring to me. It's like if they were like heavily chlorinated. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Like,
so they just have like
it's stagnant water, so they need to keep it like circulate. They need to have some kind of treatment in there, right? Like there needs to be chlorine.
Well, otherwise
Imagine
it's just a cesspool, right? It's just like a disease puddle. So,
right.
Okay, here's my pitch. Develop it would be chlorine, sweat, and sunscreen. Because I think sunscreen actually. Like sunscreen actually smells kind of good, a little bit, in my opinion.
Is it like the sunscreen that smells really like chemically, or is it the kind that smells like coconuts?
I imagine the coconutty smell.
Okay, I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Kind of split the difference between like it being gross, but also having some coconutty refreshment in there. Yeah.
So basically, the fairies are pool lifeguards in the summer at like the community pool.
Right. To build on that, in Ocarina of Time, her dress always reminded me of scales. Oh. So I imagine that it was like she's like a human, like flesh, but her torso is scaly, like a fish.
So it's like, what kind of a mermaid is that? If it's like a fish body but human legs, arms, and head.
A nightmare.
Oh, okay. That perfect. I think that makes perfect sense.
Got it.
So does that mean she smells fishy? If she's in a chlorine pool, does she have like a lingering, underlying, like very light, like fish scent? Like it's just
sure.
Like
I could see that.
Okay. So chlorine, sweat, sunscreen, and vaguely fishy. This is like
she also has
a bad
like
day at the beach.
Well, I'm looking at some pictures, but she also has like, I don't know, this seaweed around her hair too, right? Am I wrong in that, or?
I gotta pull it up. I gotta know. I haven't looked at.
I mean, this is what I'm looking at. She's got like, like leaves, like vines almost wrapped around her. So I feel like she would have some like earth tones to her as well. I don't know, or maybe that's just, if a plant's sitting in, maybe she's like smells like seaweed.
I feel like that would also play into the fish smell, like the smell of the ocean.
Probably. Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she is covered in like vines.
Salty. A little bit of salt.
So there's like a swampy aesthetic here.
Okay.
Like we're going
She's
a little
a swamp witch.
Yeah.
But not bog like Dead Hand.
No.
No, but this is like just a little bit like a lake. It's different than the ocean. It's not super salty. It's just got like this weird mossy smell to it, let's say.
Yeah. It's
like damp.
It's a smell. All right. Like,
it's a smell.
You could smell her.
Smell that smells smelly.
Yeah. Like she's out here.
I'm gonna be the brave one here. And go into the taste. Because I think the seaweed is a good angle to take with this, where she tastes like ocean. Is kind of what I was imagining.
Yeah.
Like she has like a salt and like kind of sliminess to her.
Yeah.
Like kind of like not like a white fish, but more like a jellyfish. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, okay.
So she has like viscosity to her.
Kind of blobby.
Just like maybe more like an eel, where she has like just a layer of like slime over her.
I'm almost thinking of like, have you ever been to the aquarium and like put your hand in the tanks that have the little flaps? What are those called in real life?
Stingrays.
Thank you. Sorry.
Did you just describe a stingray as the flap?
I love it. That's so good.
I don't know. That's what the internet calls it. So like, I for some reason couldn't like conjure up the word stingray, and I could only think of the word flap. I'm very sorry, but yeah. So like the little stingrays that swim around in circles in like the little hand touchy pool, and then when you touch them, they have like that rubbery wetness.
Yeah, like it's like rubbery.
They have a smoothness to them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like very specific. Like shark skin is that way, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I think that's the mouthfeel of the princess of the fairy.
Okay.
I don't want to date her anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it was fun when she was like a cool mermaid that smelled like a Palm Beach tan. But now she's like, I don't know, honey. Like, I've heard salt water is good for your hair. You know what I mean? Like, wash your hair with salt water. You know what I mean? So she's probably got like great volume. But she maybe just has like that, you know, just like a real patchouli thing going on, you know.
Patchouli.
I feel like this exercise has taught me that all video game characters are actually like, you imagine them as being like very nice and approachable, but in reality they're just like the Witcher enemies. Like they're like the weird vampires.
Definitely.
And just like smell like blood and shit. Like that's what all of these creatures are.
Everything is a drowner, essentially. Yeah, I would say that. I mean, to be completely fair, we've done 6 of these, and 3 of them, we've done 5 of these because I can't count. 3 of them are kind of gross in general. We're like, Junimos, fun. Piñatas, fun. Then it's like dead corpse in a bog, large crab. You know what I mean? Like there's a thing. There's a thing here. There's a thing here. All right, do we feel good about the like Swamp Witch Ocarina of Time fairies?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I do have to give her credit because she's just out here. She's living her life.
Her skin is flawless.
Yeah, her skin is flawless. Her hair, flawless. Her nails, flawless. Okay, I'm like, why do I keep getting the same? Come on, Google, you're better than this. I guess it's quite random if you get the same number twice, right? That's what they say. Okay. Okay, so our next thing is, I think this is an interesting one because these are things that people generally like. But we are also reducing an entire race of things to one thing. It's the Turians from Mass Effect as a race.
Oh.
Turians.
Not a good mouthfeel.
I do have a lot of questions because I'm someone that romanced Garrus and thus spent some time thinking about how this would work. I always imagine like you know, parrots or like birds, like they have those little tongues, like a cockatiel. I always imagine that for some reason.
Yeah?
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
He has like sharp teeth too, doesn't he, Garrus? He's like pointy needle teeth.
I think he does a little
Okay.
bit.
I'm pretty sure that he did. I mean, I don't want to like... There's also a part of me that honestly believes that Garrus probably has like an Axe body spray thing going on. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
totally.
Like, you know, he's like dude broing out. You know what I mean? There's
him in the locker room, just like fucking going to town with
totally. Totally. And it just lingers, you know what I mean? Like, it's just in everything.
In terms of texture on the face, like if you're going to touch his face, I imagine it feels like a rock.
I was going to say,
I always thought
feel
it was
like
very lizardy.
Yeah, definitely like harsh and
and
hard.
I could see a turtle.
I feel like it would be like, you know, the same texture as maybe your nail, but a little rougher.
Okay.
You know, there's definitely like an armor though.
They're like they're like pangolins.
Yes, that's
or like armadillos.
Really good.
Yeah. Because they definitely have like an outside like armor shell of their whole body. Mm-hmm. Like they're not like us flesh. We're like, oh, a bee stung us. Like no bee is gonna sting them because it will never be able to penetrate their really tough skin. Like,
I just imagine that thing from Parks and Recreation where it's like I was stung once. I'm immune. Sting me, bees. Sorry,
yes.
That's all I can think of.
But I don't know how they would taste. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So there's parts of it that
sturdy.
are soft. So like that's why I'm thinking of an armadillo because like in the armadillo folds of the skin plates, it has like a soft. I mean, they carry leprosy, so it has to have some kind of skin-like skin time going on.
That'll be like in the joints because he has to move. He has to bend and flex, and that's all in like the joints, you know. But everything else that doesn't move is definitely like armored up, you know.
Yeah. My facial reaction is just like this is all me going back to me when I romance Garrus and how romantic I thought it was. Now the reality of like having a romance Garrus in my face is too much to handle. And his skin
just
feel.
Think about that kiss. I don't know.
I mean, I think a lot about, like, okay, so I thought it was a very funny thing that they have Morden on board to, like, give you very straight-faced, like, sex tips about whoever that you're romancing. You know what I mean? But I feel like
Morden.
there was so much left to the imagination. Like, how? You know what I mean? Is it like a Shape of Water situation? That's what I'm thinking. It's like a Shape of Water situation. You know what I
I'm
mean?
thinking cloaca.
Probably.
That's what
Yeah,
I
I think it has to be because they're like birds. They're like bird lizards. They're like dinosaurs.
Yeah, I agree. And they smell like Axe body spray. All of them. Every single
Well,
one.
it's like I feel like I don't know, like they have those like shell carapaces that like come up over their necks, you know what I mean? And I feel like it probably gets weird in there. So you just gotta like, you gotta be super clean, you gotta be clean all the time, right? And then you just gotta fucking axe it up, right? So like Garrus coming out of his little like locker room and you could smell him across the entire ship. And you're just like, my dude, like we get it. I like it. However, everything smells like this. Like the towels all smell like this. Like don't make me wash those again. I just washed those. You know how hard it is to do towels on this thing.
Well, would it be like musty water or something? Because you know how hard that would be to like clean the back of yourself if like you took a shower or something. Maybe they don't take showers. Maybe they don't clean themselves very often because they get like moisture in the back of their shell or whatever.
They're like chinchillas
Okay.
and they take dust baths. Is that what
I
you're
have new
saying?
information.
Okay, give it to me. Give it to me.
Okay.
Pangolins can emit... I looked up pangolin smell, just to know like what it would be.
Yeah, yeah.
And pangolins can emit a noxious-smelling chemical from glands near their anus, similar to the spray of a skunk.
So are you,
But that's
are
like
you
a
implying
defensive
that
thing.
Garrus has like
Yeah.
a little skunk fart thing going on?
That's what I'm imagining. Garrus has the ability to do that, and also Garrus covers himself with Axe body spray. A, because he's a bro. He's my bro. And then B, because like it's just who he is, man. Like he's got to cover up the farty smell with the Axe body spray.
The bad thing is, like, I feel like the Axe body spray is really on brand, and I hate it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a part of me that's like, no, baby, you can't do this. But then it's like, that would be removing a very core part of his identity. Would be
Well, okay, I guess
just.
like I feel the Asari are very like into like they are very sensual creatures apparently, right?
Yeah.
Very
I
hygienic.
imagine, and like you know the Turians really don't like humans that much, but they want to get along with the Asari, and if they smell like skunks, they gotta really like bring the perfume. So I imagine they're all pretty perfumed. Garrus's decision is Axe, but the other ones just go hard with like cologne or whatever.
I could see that.
They just throw like a Febreze air freshener in the
They've got one of those like Febreze like automatic things on their chest, and just going constantly.
You just like walk up into the club, a bunch of Turians are there, and it's like they're all wearing chains.
Yeah, just shooting the stuff out.
Yeah. Okay, that's okay. So we'll what do they taste like? We didn't cover this.
We didn't talk about taste. No, we didn't.
You do get to make out with a Turian, so I mean the options are here.
Chicken.
Tastes like chicken.
Like you just get all up in there for that kiss, and his mouth tastes like chicken broth. Like
Yeah.
No. There's no way.
I mean, they're bird.
two birds
people,
taste
right?
like. Okay.
I just don't have a. I don't have
a part
lot of other.
of me wants to believe that like because the Turians are dextro, right? So they can't eat like the human food that like humans and Asari can eat. They have to eat like, and in my imagination, it's just like bird pellets. You know what I mean? Like the kind you buy in a cup, and you like feed to the, and that's like a sort of a lingering kind of hay like flavor.
I'm like having flashbacks to the petting farm, just like a goat.
I know that's like all I can think of when we talk about this is like the one cockatiel at the deer farm.
Can you imagine? Garrus pops open his like Turian Monster energy drink and starts pouring it out. And it's all just bird pellets coming out of the can. As he's like just spraying himself down with Axe. He's just in a towel and he's like, Shepard, I didn't see you there. It's just... I'm sorry, this is my...
We're getting pulled into your fan fiction here.
I feel like we're like disgracing the memory of the best boy.
I know,
there
Garrus.
was.
We all love him. What are we doing? We're dishonoring him.
Well, so the only thing I will say is that there are there's like dextro alcohol drinks because like he's always making jokes about having like a dextro heatsink or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So they have alcohol. And maybe it's made out of bird pellet.
Who's to say they can't just distill bird pellets down into a liquid? You know,
It's grain alcohol. You can make grain alcohol out of bird
Yeah.
pellets because it smells
Yeah.
like corn. It's all
Yeah.
whiskey and moonshine.
it works. It works. It checks out. Are we just gonna say they taste like chickens?
They taste like chicken and they smell like ice.
Oh my god, this is awful. Ugh. What kind? Okay. So this is just like they taste like bird or like chicken specifically. Like, could they be?
Like duck flavored? Is that what you were meaning?
Like duck
You
flavored,
have to fight your
or
urge to eat one all the time.
or quail, or
it's
you
like
know,
a shitty vampire
or squab.
story
Like
also.
what's the flavor here? Or turkey? They're just big turkeys.
I feel like turkey. Turkey has like
turkey
that
would be
texture.
better, right?
It has that like kind
Yeah.
of stringy texture to it that I kind of imagine that a Turian meat might be like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or is it an ostrich?
I don't know what ostrich
I don't know
would
what
taste
this
like.
ostrich tastes like.
Oh, I mean, it tastes like bird.
I'm sorry, you've eaten an ostrich?
Yeah, they're the
Dude, I
ostrich
apparently-
farm. Hello.
Yeah,
I've had
people-
an
You could
ostrich
go to the
leg.
ostrich farm and eat the ostriches? That feels wrong. That feels
I want
really
that
wrong.
one. Give me that ostrich.
No,
on its head, on
no,
my plate.
no. But like, there's because there's
Sorry.
an ostrich farm. They're like at the state fair and stuff. Anyway,
Is it like when you go and you go to the Red Lobster and you can pick your lobster out of the tank? Is it like that with the ostrich? It's like
yeah,
yes,
just like
the
that
big
one right there.
Yeah,
He's a good one.
that would be so upsetting. That would be so upsetting. Like,
They don't do that.
well, no, I mean, just like from the perspective of Garrus tasting like a chicken is sort of like putting yourself in the shoes of Shepard, right?
Right.
He's like the dudest bro to ever dude, bro. You guys are rock solid. Friendship first, then relationship comes next, and you're like really feeling it for him, and you're getting past all of the Axe body spray, and you just finally get your moment together, and he fucking tastes like chicken. He tastes like a rotisserie chicken in the mouth.
It's like you have a bouillon cube in your mouth and you can't
yes,
get it out.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, at least it's not a bad flavor, I guess, right? Like,
How do you have that conversation with like, honey, you taste like soup flavoring. I don't know if that's weird. Like,
right.
Please try this chicken. I know it won't go through your system right, but you need to know.
Here, have a piece of gum.
so does he
before
like?
we make
Does he
out.
eat a piece of chicken and then he's like, this tastes like nothing to me. This is like,
You're
This is
right.
bland.
this is a non-entity. It's like drinking water. I don't know. Do Turians drink water? I don't know. I have a lot of questions now.
I mean, they have to have some sort of fluid, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're drinking
Okay.
their bird pellet alcohol.
Right. That's of course.
You know, that's
it's all
their
the
main course,
the
yeah.
nutrients that they need.
Right.
So to recap,
Yes.
tastes like a bird, smells
Yes.
like perfume, and in Garrus' specific situation, Axe body spray,
Yeah.
and feels like a pangolin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you both.
Got it.
I would still romance him. I'm not.
I mean, it's all about the look.
I'm okay.
I can't do it. I can't do the chicken thing.
I like chicken. You know, so I'm like, it raises some concerns in my heart that I like don't really know what to do with. You know what I mean? But I'm sure it's fine. Okay. Shall we do our next? I'm sorry. I don't know if we could come back after Garrus.
Well, I mean, right.
I just rolled a real good one that
A nice normal one.
that I also kind of wonder if maybe smells like Axe body spray. It's Mr. X from Resident Evil 2.
Oh God. Oh,
I'm like Axe body spray again, kind of.
I
really?
imagine Old Spice. Seems like an
you
Old
think
Spice
you
kind
think
of
he's
dude.
you think he's an Old Spice man?
I feel like that's like what people of a certain age would wear, like
Okay, yeah.
dads. Like, and Mr. X is a dad in my read of who his character is.
Okay.
He wears a hat. He goes to work. He puts his jacket on. He puts his hat on. He goes to work and he comes back and he takes it off at night.
Okay, so this is a slight aside, but I have been looking at all of the stuff coming out now about Resident Evil 3, and I'm like, I keep looking at the Nemesis character model, and I just have like so many questions about the concept of like putting this large fighty man into a pair of boots. You know what I mean? Like, who dressed up this man, and like who was like, I'm gonna make this man a very nice little raincoat, and I'm gonna make him a very nice little hat, and I'm gonna give him this little briefcase, and then he's gonna go fucking murder. You know what I mean? I want to be the tailor at the Umbrella Corporation, who's just like, yes, Nemesis, this color, honey, it's gonna look so good on you. It's black, just like all the other ones, because black is always in style. You know what I mean?
Right. I guess I always thought that Nemesis' outfit was also part of their skin for some reason. I don't know why I thought this.
Some of it
I'm looking
is.
more at it.
Well,
Okay.
because some of it is like wrapped on him, but then he has like these really nice brand new boots. And I don't know. From a
he's
character
wearing-
design perspective, I'm like,
He's wearing the Chanel boots. That's what he's tramping around is. Hello.
Okay. So
It's
he's on
the
brand.
boots.
So then
Yeah.
are we saying that Mr. X is like New York Fashion Week ready all the time?
Oh my
Always.
god, yes.
Of course.
Okay, perfect.
He's always, on point. He's always in the know.
So if he smells like something, it has to be like a very chic perfume, right? Like it has to be very, like, he's a Tom Ford man. You know what I mean? He's like I don't know. Tom
I
Ford's
hear
the
what
only
you're
thing that comes to
saying,
mind.
but also I feel like he's somewhere between like leather and medicinal
Okay.
for some reason, because he was made, right? He's like chemically, he's like made, right? So he has to have
right.
some sort of chemical to him.
Sure.
And he's wearing all these like high fashion, whatever. Typically that's leather, right? Typically. So I don't know, but you could have some fragrance on him, of course. Olivia, you have something to add.
You were talking about, like, he is technically dead, so like formaldehyde
embalming
mixed with
fluid,
leather.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was. And then also, like, when we were talking about like, high fashion week, I was imagining like cheap liquor and cocaine. I don't know what cocaine would smell like, but that's the
Does
vibe I
cocaine
got
smell
from
like?
it.
Okay, yeah. So wait, is it technically dead? Is he dead? I thought he was like a person that had just been mutated and was like mind controlled, but was still technically alive.
I thought he like died and they were mutating him. He's like Frankenstein, I thought.
Okay.
And then like once
Maybe
they
I'm
like
thinking of
perfected
Nemesis.
Nemesis was alive and like they
That
transformed.
was
He
like
mutated.
yeah, that was like okay.
Yeah.
But
I thought Mr. X
not.
was like, yeah, like he like was Frankenstein, and like through several iterations, they got to the current version of Mr. X that he is now.
Okay.
Because like they cloned him and stuff. Cause yeah. Anyway, I mean I could be wrong, but I feel like that's what happened.
Okay.
Because if you go playing the remake that recently came out, if you go down into like the underground labs, there's a bunch of like these cloned half failure Mr. X's. I thought because like he was like a line. He's like a line of super soldiers that were going to come out, and then shit happened. I don't know. They only made one apparently that worked. So.
Oh, okay. So he's not as. This is according to a Steam thread, but Mr. X uses the same like thing, like the same virus, like the T virus or G virus, whatever it is.
Yes.
And like, but he's not technically a zombie because he is a living being. But they were able to use the T virus to turn him into whatever he is. This is a Steam thread. I don't have any. There's no sources here, but I feel like their explanation makes sense to me. So. But I would imagine kind of smells like a zombie a little bit. Like if you're using the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you disagree, Rebecca? I'm open for whatever you think.
I'm like not in the realm of Dead Hand. You know what I mean? Because I feel
Totally.
like he's too clean for that. So I think the like embalming fluid is really what, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of a pervasive smell that just is sort of around, and you're like not really sure what it is. You know what I mean? Like I kind of feel it from that perspective.
I could also see like astringent, like any kind of antiseptic smell.
Yeah.
Could also
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like
yeah,
part
yeah.
of this. Like if we don't want to
He's-
go for like dead body.
He smells like an alcohol wipe. Like some,
Yes.
like some
Right.
hand
It's like
sanitizer.
sterile. He
Yeah,
smells
yeah.
sterile, which is like what I was
Smells
getting
like an
at with the
alcohol wipe
medicine.
because he's been drinking a lot of cheap liquor, and also because
Right.
he's from the lab.
Well, he
it's
only
getting out of
drinks
both ends.
Everclear. I'm pretty sure is what we're getting at here.
Right.
I mean, it's like 95
Grain
proof
alcohol.
or Get Out. Yeah.
Him and Garrus are sharing great alcohol.
Maybe that's where he gets like the Old Spice from. They have arguments in the locker room over which is the best body spray.
Okay.
Oh.
Did we go over how much did we go over what he tastes like?
No. Or what he feels like.
Or what
I
he
just-
feels. Well, I feel like he
it's
feels like
like-
a human. Like if he's got the skin.
But like a corpse. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever done, I'm not about to ask if you ever touched a corpse. Have you ever done, like,
He's
trying to think-
stiff.
yeah, well, not even that, but like, did you ever
Rigor
when you were
mortis
in-
is set in.
Yeah. Like, have you ever, in school, did you ever have to do, dissections?
Yeah.
I did not.
So I remember having done a fetal pig, which was very upsetting, but it had like it was preserved in formaldehyde, and you take it out of the formaldehyde bag, and it has a real density to it. Like it's real thick and not in the CC way. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just it's just heavy and dense is really
Yeah.
all I have to say. And so like that's the only thing I can think of is like that smell, dense, cold.
See, and like I did frogs. That was our dissection thing. And
Okay.
I always imagine like waxy, because it's like, oh, you've been in formaldehyde for a long time, probably
Yeah.
feel like gross, like that kind of like waxy consistency, because your skin is taking on a weird preserved thing now.
Yeah. That's
So
why
he's
he
a
can't
little-
keep his hat on. It just
He's
keeps
a little slippery. He's a little
too slippery.
slimy.
God, whoever listens to this is gonna have so many kinks coming out of it. It's gonna be gross. I'm sorry what we've done to you.
Oof.
Don't want to yuck
On their
your yum.
morning
I'm
commute
sorry.
into work.
Yeah, and we're like, Garrus' mouth tastes like chicken. I'm sure of it.
Okay.
Okay, so basically Mr. X is a corpse that also
What does
smells
he
like
taste
cheap
like?
alcohol and maybe wears a nice Tom Ford suit. I don't know.
Right.
But it can't make up for the fact that he feels like he came out of a bag for cadavering purposes. Great. Okay. Shall we do one last one before we get into our salutations?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's bring it home, ladies and gentlemen. We did that one already. Come on, Google, please. Okay, we did not do this one. I feel like this is a good way to close it out because I think we've talked about this a little bit before. And this thing is Gooigi from Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, yay.
I still stand by lime jello. There's a part of me that really wants him to be lime jello. You know what I mean? I know that's
Made
not
with,
what he's
made
going to
with
be.
coffee.
Huh?
Like made with coffee, because he's like part coffee, right?
Yeah,
Luigi?
he's caffeine and ectoplasm mixed together. So do with that what you will.
I like your headcanon. That Luigi is lime. That's wholesome compared to everything else that all the unholy nightmares that we've created tonight.
Yeah.
I
But
really appreciate.
I thought we also agreed that he like pretty much just picks up everything he touches, and so
Oh, yeah,
internally
Well,
he's like gross.
like I know that slime is all the rage now with the kids, but like as a child, did you ever buy like the slime in a little jar or whatever, and it was fun until it picked up everything that was on the carpet and then became kind of like weird?
Yeah.
And that's what
You know
I
what?
imagine Luigi's like.
Yeah. You know what's funny? They're starting to sell slime as like a cleaning in between like keyboards and stuff. You
Oh,
just
yeah,
literally
yeah.
take slime and like throw it on your keyboard, and like it gets into all the crevices and stuff, and then like you hold it up and it's got all the gross stuff, and then you throw it away because you can't. There's nothing you can do with it anymore. It's gross. But anyway, I thought that was funny. Just resurgence of that happening. But
So the real
Throw
the real
Luigi
question
on your keyboard.
Yeah, would you
Yeah.
use Luigi to clean your keyboard? Yes
of
or no?
course, of course.
Okay.
Because this is assuming that he can like physically move everything inside of him to like his hand, and then like chop off his hand, which will then regrow because hey, he's Guigi, right? And then like reduce, reuse, recycle.
Okay, so fun fact that I need you to know right now that I just was thinking of. In Luigi's Mansion 3, Luigi, you sometimes will use Luigi to like get to stuff that you could not get otherwise. And normally you like vacuum up stuff. However, in the instance of things that are quite large, like a key to a door or something, he will just put them inside of his body, and then it just is like in there and you can see it. And so if he walks through like a grate, it will fall out.
Huh. Okay.
Luigi's a treasure.
Okay. So what you're saying is we could use him to clean up our household appliance, like our house and stuff, but then like run him through like a really fine metal mesh grate.
Yeah, or
And
just like
everything
stream out
would
to some
come out.
cheesecloth or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was mentioning like a cheesecloth sleeve
Cheesecloth.
to like try to get
Cheesecloth.
it all like, cleaned
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
He lives in a
Gotcha.
vacuum cleaner, so that's another thing.
Did we confirm if every time he's summoned it's a new Guigi? Like when he dies, is it like a different
Luigi
version
a
of
hive
himself.
mind?
Yeah, like I feel like it's a hive mind situation. Like there's like the goo that can just be reformed endlessly.
Okay.
Born of the goo, die of the goo.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because Guigi can die and like not, so like you could suck Guigi back up, like you can send him out to do stuff and then he'll do whatever and then you can suck him back up. But then there's times like if he touches water, he just dissolves, which is a weird fun party trick that Guigi can do sometimes.
Like cotton candy, just
Yeah, like it's like have you ever seen that video of the raccoon when it's given cotton candy and it takes it and tries to wash it and it's like it doesn't understand why it keeps disappearing when it puts it in the water?
Yes.
It's like that.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Okay, in the circumstance where Luigi gets washed away,
Yes.
and then you summon another Luigi, you have to go get the original Luigi parts, or is that Luigi gone forever?
That Guigi's gone forever, but you have like infinite Guigi juice, so it doesn't matter. So you could send Guigi out to his death at your leisure, and there's just infinite Guigis. You know what I mean? That's what makes me think it has to be some kind of hive mind.
Gotcha. Because
Or it's
otherwise
way
all
more
the
horrific.
Guigis would revolt. It's not some
Yeah.
it's not some
Like
Selma
it has
bullshit.
to be impartial.
Yeah.
You know that game Inside?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
What if that's
It's like,
about Luigi? What if Luigi's the flesh ball at the end? What if like that's all the Luigis?
but he can't
It's just it's like a bunch of
okay.
Junimos. That's all.
I see what you're saying. I see what
Sorry.
you're saying.
Sorry. Yeah.
The only problem
I'm
is
just
like,
saying, like,
it's just not like
the-
Jello, it can't fit, it
Right.
can't go through things. But I understand what you're saying. Like Luigi could be like this massive ball of whatever, and then like once you summon Luigi, like one little bit comes out.
Right, and I guess the comparison I got was like in Inside when you connect to the head thing and you control the other person.
Oh, yeah.
You do that with Luigi, like because basically Luigi leaves his body and enters the vessel that is Luigi. Right.
That's true.
So
Well, yeah, it is. That is basically what happens because once you leave Luigi behind, he just goes like this.
right. So we're basically
Yeah.
saying that Luigi's Mansion is the prequel to Inside. Because
Yeah.
once they find out the power of Luigi and like actually harness that energy to make a society, then everyone becomes Luigi. That's my theory, at least. So read more about it on my wiki, GuigiTruth.com.
Subscribe to my newsletter where I tell you Guigi conspiracy theories.
Don't drink the water. Don't trust tap water, please.
Okay.
It's full of Guigi. All right. A lime flavored conspiracy theory, I think, is a good place to call that one. I'd say. Yay! That was illuminating.
I had a lot of fun.
Well, I want to hear
I have not laughed that hard in a while, so that was fun.
I want to hear what some of the other now that we've kind of gone through, I want to see what some of the other ones were.
So
were,
some
like,
of the
maybe
other ones
notable.
were, so for example, Chain Chomps were on here from Super
Oh.
Mario Brothers. The Hanar was our other Mass Effect race that was on here. The Jelly Boys. The Slime Scholars from Bloodborne. The Hanar was on here twice. I lied apparently about there being
Duplicates.
duplicates. I thought one I thought was interesting was Dark Samus was on here. Is it like a bug? Is she like a bug? I needed somebody to explain that one to me.
She's made with like Chozo energy, right? Like or dark energy or something. Like she's
Okay.
technically like a suit that, like the Varia suit that's been taken over by the Chozo energy.
Oh,
I may have
So-
submitted Dark Samus. That may
Very-
have been-
Okay. I was like, I know Dark Samus, but I don't know the particulars of Dark Samus. Okay. Let's see. So like Kirby was on here. There were a bunch of Monster Hunter creatures like the Legiana and the Wigglers, which are really cute. Wooloo was on here.
Oh my god.
One of my favorite was those big hiss disturbance things from Control. That's word for word. Mr. Mime was in here. Death Claws were in here. Creepers from Minecraft were in here. We got Nugs from Dragon Age. We got Kingseeker Framped from Dark Souls. In case you're wondering about the mouthfeel of the Kingseeker. We
Just
got
wanna-
Skags. We got Pac-Man Ghosts. There were some good ones.
Can I ask? I was watching the Giant Bomb stream when they're talking about ranking the enemies, the Mario enemies, in like a terms of flavor, and this happened independent of our conversation. Like this happened in between we decided to record it. But one thing they talked about was bullet bills, and like is a bullet bill crustacean? Like if you break a bullet bill open, will it have like food in it? Like would it be meat, or is a bullet bill a literal bullet that's made?
I thought
of
it was
metal?
completely solid all the
But
way
he's got
through,
arms and eyes,
like a rock. Well,
Well, the same could be said for a chain chomp. Like, is a chain chomp a crustacean?
yeah. It's got a hard outer shell. It's got a
I'm
tongue,
more.
teeth, and
I
eyes.
fall for the are crustaceans, and you break a bulla bill open, and that thing is full of juicy meat that you can chop. You can make a nice salad, charcuterie.
Yeah.
But then, if that's true, why when they hit like a wall, there's no like blood splatter?
It's the explosion is so. It's like because the crustacean shell. It's like it's all controlled. Like the explosion happens from within.
What if
like
a
an
bullet bill
implosion.
is
Like a
actually
dense
filled with
nuclear implosion.
Yeah, that's filled with two fluids that, like, when they combine, react in such a way that causes the explosion that you see. You know,
There are two bullet
So
bills
bullet bills
inside
are nuclear warheads filled with crab meat, basically.
you. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
got it.
Thank you for humoring me. I just needed to know because I've had that question for like a couple days now, so it really helps me.
I think that's a good one. But yeah, we had lots of really good, crazy. What would Kirby taste like? I want to say
marshmallow.
bubblegum. Marshmallow. The truth is probably
bubblegum flavored marshmallow,
to me.
or is he a peep? God, he's not a peep.
What my heart wants is marshmallow. What the reality is like mechanically separated chicken.
Oh
God. And I was gonna say taffy. I was gonna say probably taffy, but mechanically separated chicken's probably the right choice, actually.
We all know Kirby is an abomination against nature, so.
Kirby is actually an escaped chicken McNugget that was never cooked.
Oh no.
The pink goo.
It's just terrible. All right, shall we get into our salutations?
Please,
Sure.
God, save us.
All right, so salutations are a little fun thing that we like to do where we like to give a shout out to some of the cool things that we are enjoying of any kind. It's just a little fun thing we like to do. Olivia, would you like to get us started with our salutations for this month?
Sure. So my salutation is Duolingo. I don't know if y'all have used
yes.
Duolingo before.
Oh, I'm in
Yeah.
it. I'm in it. For
Yeah.
sure.
So I made a New Year's resolution that I was going to learn to speak a little bit of Spanish. I've taken Spanish for like years in school, but it's all rusty now, and I'd like to. I want to know another language. I think that would be fun. And so Duolingo has been a pretty good tool for covering those basics and like getting back into it. And I like the gamification of it. I think it's like I think if I took a class, it would probably be like more effective, but at the same time it's like, oh, I want to like chill and go to bed, but maybe I'll just like knock out a few Duolingo courses, and it's just been a very fun time for me. Have you guys had Tyler, you're saying you're actually using it right now? Like you've been on the Duolingo
baby.
train?
Doing it.
Learning Spanish?
I'm doing Spanish because I also have taken Spanish for 9 years and not retained a lick of it. I mean, ¿Dónde está tu biblioteca? No sé. I want.
Biblioteca vivo en la casa roja. Did you ever have?
¿Dónde están tus pantalones?
Yeah. Did you ever have the one semester of Spanish love song?
No, but we
I'll
watched a
send
lot
it
of
to you
Musi anyway. And also De Colores.
Me llamas Olivia.
Anyway, so it's funny. I downloaded it last year. I kind of got into it, and then for like the past month or two, I completely fell off of it again. So I restarted it, re-downloaded it once I switched phones, and now I'm back into it. I'm all the way back in Bronze League. For people who never use Duolingo, it puts you into like a league or a competition against other people who are using Duolingo, and like every week you can advance to the next rank up.
I don't think we're Duolingo buds. We should compete against one another.
We should.
Gamify.
I will destroy
the
you.
Duolingo.
But Duolingo does a really good job of like Livy, like you said, gamifying it, and it kind of like nags you. I didn't use it for like a week once, and it was like, you know what? We're just gonna wait till you're ready to learn Spanish to reach out again. And it's just like, okay, passive aggressive Duolingo owl.
The Duolingo owl will show up and break your fucking kneecaps for not learning a language. Just saying.
So I've been enjoying it. It's a good recommendation.
It's very good, and I would highly suggest. It's like not that big of an install either to even have it offline, so it's cool. One other thing I wanted to shout out is I bought a new vacuum yesterday. I bought a Shark vacuum, like
Nice.
the cheapo one, and it's changed my fucking life. So
Good
go get a
vacuum.
new vacuum if you can. Yeah, it's been a very good life investment for me. Tyler, what's your salutation?
My salutation is Destiny 2.
You're in, huh?
I'm
You're in.
I'm in. I don't know if you know this, but I already bought the season pass, and so like I'm level 9 on the season, and so
Nice.
like I'm going along. I'm chugging. We played Destiny 2. I mean, it's guess it's irrelevant when we played it, but we played it on a Friday, one of our pen pal streams, which you go watch on Twitch. But I don't know. I fell in love again with it, and I'm keeping up with it. I have a rocky history with Destiny, and Destiny 2 in particular. Like the last test when Destiny 1 came out, I bought everything, and then I stopped after the month it like initially released because I had a lot of problems, and then I didn't play it again until it was Destiny 2 was coming out. So like everyone was gone, and now I'm in Destiny 2 where I bought it and I didn't play it until now. Now that it's free, and I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying all the drops. What's up?
Are you going back and doing the older content, or what's been keeping you busy?
Well, since I never officially here's the thing with Destiny, it doesn't really have a very good story.
Fair.
It's pretty crazy.
I know that it is really lore intensive, but for some reason the story is just not really captivating. I'm half going back and doing old missions, the original storyline, and also half doing bounties just like randomly. Beyond that, that's what I'm doing. I haven't gotten into any Crucible or any Gambit because I'm afraid of multiplayer. And I haven't been doing too many strikes just because I don't it's an MMO, it's a dungeon. Strikes are dungeons, and it means
Play your class.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing in these dungeons, and like sometimes they can be intense, and I'm just like, well, I'm a noob, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm dying all the time, and these guys are like carrying me. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. So if you have a clan that's high level, let me join, or come
That's
join
really
me.
cool. We should try to do a Nightfall. Like, I think that'd be really fun for us to try to do it one of these weeks. It would require us to get a little leveled up and have some guns and stuff, but I think that would be fun to do as a group.
I think my light level is 840 right now. I know you're like 920, Olivia, or something like that. Like after we played.
In there.
But do you have Forsaken? Do you have all the DLC?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why. Because I don't have any of the DLC, and so I'm not able to purchase certain things. Cause...
Yeah, I'm wondering if the drops were different for me because I had that, because I was definitely getting some Forsaken drops. So, or I have Forsaken and I have Shadowkeep. So, and I was gonna say, if you want to try it, I would recommend Forsaken. It does go on sale every once in a while, just because I think that does have the best story out of all the content that I've played. Mm-hmm. So, and
well, I know that
really fast.
I know that Steam right now has like a bundle for both of them. If you pay $40 or something, $50, you save $10. And like, I guess since it's now transferable, right, it goes to my account, I hope. So maybe that's
you have to buy it on each platform independently, unfortunately.
Oh no, then I would have to be on PlayStation, or just transfer my character over, but either way, still.
Yeah. Well, I hope you stick with it. That sounds fun.
Definitely. Rebecca, what's your salutation?
So my salutation is a game that I wanted to play it last year, but I didn't have time. I was a little overzealous with my PGC. So I spent the beginning part of this PGC trying to clean up after myself from last year and all the games I didn't get through. So my salutation this week is for the game Observation.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm playing it on the PS4. Observation is... they call it a horror game, but it's really not that scary, sorry.
Right.
But it is a game set in space in which you play an AI. And so the game is played through, like, menu interfaces and taking commands from a person that's, like, operating you, basically, and switching camera feeds and all of that stuff. And so it embodies that in a very interesting way. It is... sometimes like, hey, you know those hacking mini games that you hate in every video game? Well, we made a whole game that's just that. So there's like moments, you know what I mean? It has moments where I'm like, I don't know about this. But it's been very interesting and how it's kind of stuck to its guns, I think. And it does try to present like a space mystery that reminded me a lot of, like, I think both of you ended up watching Love, Death, and Robots, right?
Yes.
It reminded me a lot of that one where the guy meets the lady, but she's actually an alien. Remember that one? That one. It reminds me of that one. I can't remember what the name of that short was.
Was that the Fight Pit, or was that...
It's the one
So
where he
this-
like is in space, right? And he kind of goes
Yeah.
off to some weird space.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
the only
yeah,
person
yeah.
that wakes up out of stasis, and they end
Gotcha.
up in like this very far away space station. But like, oh, his ex-girlfriend's here. Ooh, strange. It has like that energy to it. So I would say that if you like that, that's a very good. There's a dog barking right outside my window. They sound very angry. But yeah, it's really cool. I have to give it a lot of credit for doing what it does. You know what I mean? Because it is kind of fun to be a computer interface. Because I could just like hop between cameras all over the ship and just like hack into stuff and like turn stuff on or whatever, you know?
I was listening to a spoiler, like on the Giant Bomb Game of the Year thing, they were kind of going over the story of that game and where it goes.
Yeah.
And it seems like it goes wild in
Yeah.
terms of, I don't want to spoil
Yeah.
anything, but just the stuff that happens in that game seems nuts.
Yeah.
So.
I definitely recommend going in as blind as you can because it's, you know, once it's spoiled, it's sort of spoiled. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the beats, I think, maybe don't have the same effect that they would perhaps if you were going in blind, but I think it's still worth a shot because it's just interesting. Like, it's fun and it's interesting, and I've never seen a game really try to accomplish this before.
Because I only heard the large plot strokes on it, and does it work? It seemed like kind of ridiculous, but I didn't have the context for it. So in the game, does it seem like it works? Like, does it actually sell itself, like the reality?
I think it does. There are some things that it like doesn't address, and I don't know if it tries to do that from the perspective of like you are an AI, you know what I mean? And so like you have to be told emotion. So there are like a couple of things that happen that characters react to, but then it's like sort of never really explained why that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's just sort of like, anyway, and then we just sort of move on. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I don't know if that is to try to play off of you being just the computer program. You know what I mean? But it is really interesting. And the thing that I do appreciate is that they give you a sphere. So you get to inhabit a sphere. So you get free movement through the ship. And so getting like free movement through like a space station, like a very ISS styled space station, is very cool and very effective. And like your camera will like kind of blip out if you bounce off of stuff, and you know what I mean. It's
that's cool.
quite it's like done really well. It's very aesthetic, I would say. It's pretty forgiving. I think I've not run into a puzzle that I've been like, it's the pipe puzzle from BioShock all over again. You know what I mean? So luckily there's none of that. But yeah, I recommend it. It's really interesting. I'm excited to kind of see the payoff of it. And see where it goes. So that's my salutation. All right. And I think that a podcast makes, I would say. So this has been the Greetings from Podcasts. You can find us wherever podcasts are hosted, such as Apple Podcasts, Simplecast, Spotify, and others. You can send us questions at greetingsfromcast@gmail.com. You can visit us online at greetingsfrom.zone. We have all of our past streams and podcasts and all of our writing and stuff up there. It's very cool to go to. You can also follow us on Twitter at Greetings from PC. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere that you think we are. Just look and you'll find us. My name is Rebecca Faye. You can find me on Twitter at Rebecca Faye. Olivia, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at LivJQ. Tyler, where can they find you?
Find me at Twitter at WorldJumpin.
And he's here to do some business with a big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Sorry.
Congrats, gamers! You made it to the end! Thanks for listening to the Greetings From podcast. Our intro and outro song is an edited version of Deep Fried Space Food by Substitute Sandwiches. You can find a link to the song, along with links to all the stuff we talked about this week, in the podcast description. Find us online at greetingsfrom.zone, where you can listen to more episodes, find out more about your dangerously good-looking and charming hosts, and catch up on our blog. You can also follow us on Twitch and Twitter at greetingsfrompc. Send your questions, messages, or anything you'd like to greetingsfromcast@gmail.com or call us direct at 347-642-6377. Until next time, happy playing!